Hello, bear with me. I still have a little bit of a cold. Um, been outside with my mask because I'm not a savage and trying to keep my germs to myself. Um, and people just look at me like I'm weird. We really are living in savage land here in New York City. That's going to be your challenge, Mayor Mamdani. Can you steer us out of the savagery? We've been here since de Blasio. So that's 8 years of him, 4 years of Adams. Adams had a chance, but didn't follow through on some things. Had two good ideas, didn't follow through, and nothing really happened. So let's see if Mom Donnie can really follow through on those two things: mental health and streamlining the housing voucher system, or um, increasing public housing, or both. Spare the Kids by Stacey Patton, one of the most, if not the most important books. Um, my mother didn't beat me often. I think I might have got two, three beats my whole life. She beat me the first time as a child. I was scared of her, and I tried not to get in trouble. I was soft, whatever you want to call me. Uh, but I had had enough. Punishment worked on me to stay out of trouble. 6 months after she made headlines, CBS News caught up with Graham and found her not living the life of a hero. She and her children were in danger of losing their home. They were struggling to put food on the table, and the mother and son still lived in fear of the violence ravaging their neighborhood. Before Freddie Gray's death between January and April 2015, Baltimore had seen more than 100 shootings and 40 homicides, earning the city the nickname Bodymore, Murderland. While law enforcement, black political figures, the media, and racist trolls online were busy portraying the young people who took to the streets of Baltimore to fight for their rights as hooligans. I cheered for them. They were doing exactly what they were supposed to be doing, embracing a long-standing American tradition of resistance, all in the name of democracy and freedom. They did what generations of young people from Soweto to Palestine have done to fight for their own lives when their country devalues and demonizes them. When no one else will stand in solidarity with them. Yeah, we have to do better for our young people. And I know a lot of you think you're doing better for your young child, but you're not even doing that. So, hell, at this point, even if you did the selfish thing for your own children, I would be impressed. But right now, we're not doing either. The media complained that the vandalism, arson, and looting were just opportunistic violence, and those young people had no real political agenda. As if black people living in poverty don't have the ability to be organized and intentional. Lawlessness and thugs threaten peace, the pundits argued. Never mind that peace was defined by the killing of unarmed black youth, systemic harassment by the criminal injustice system, mass poverty, unemployment, divestment in schools, poor housing, and inadequate health care. But I saw young people living out Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s words spoken 3 years after his famous I Have a Dream speech. The riot is the language of the unheard. We're in such bad shape. We're asking for funding of the school system that miseducates us. That's how bad we are. We'll even take that. black people, I think we're worse off than our slave ancestors, our enslaved ancestors. I mean, it's arguable. I think I can prove it. No one's ever argued with me on it. They just say whatever when I start making my case. So I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I make my case and they say whatever. They don't want to go there. The media complained that the vandalism, arson, and looting. Okay, we read that one. I have great compassion for parents like Toya Graham who are doing the best they can to raise up children under enormous stress while barely scraping by. This is a mom who was so afraid of her son's life, or so afraid for her son's life, that she admitted trying to shield him from the police in Baltimore's dangerous street by keeping him in the house. Ultimately, parents, like her, just want their children to live, even if that means enacting violence against their bodies and spirits to keep them in their place. I always just say street smarts are staying off the streets. Because whenever you're just roaming on the streets, first of all, it shows that you're disengaged, and then you're just vulnerable for everybody. And when you're black, everybody in this society wants to dump on you, or use you, or brutalize you. Boys and girls, men and women, but in different ways. I have compassion because she is parenting in an environment where the powers that be make sure that average black parents, especially single moms, are embedded in circumstances where their needs for the bare essentials of life for themselves and their children remain unmet. Racist aggression, disenfranchisement, discrimination, incarceration, and generational theft of black wealth have ensured that most black folks are constantly in survival mode. This is going to be unfair, but black women, you got everything on your backs already anyway. Force black men back into the fold. Just tell us what to do, we'll do it. We will actually do it. A lot of the black men that you see just standing around that want to help but don't know where, force them back in. Stop throwing us away. Stop doing this high value man, high value woman, high value. We need to stop doing that dumb shit. And if he has something to contribute, make him contribute. I'm not saying you got to have relationships with him. There's a lot of men out here, you ain't got to sleep with us. We could teach children, we could educate them, we could put together packets, we could put together trips to museums, we could put together all kinds of stuff. You'd be surprised. We can help them fix things. This black man can help them teach them to cut hair. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what your average black man could do just out here. Moreover, whooping out kids creates a false sense of protection that actually plays on white racist narratives that locate anti-blackness at the feet of black children's bodies and behavior. In other words, we believe that stop and frisk, school suspensions and expulsions, mass incarceration, and death by police are rooted in the black child's body that needs more whoopings. What's so disturbing is that racism is let off the hook. A militarized police force is not the problem. Systemic racism, from the war on drugs to racial profiling, from hypersegregation to community divestment, is not the issue. The message is simple but extremely dangerous. More than rampart poverty, more than overzealous police, more than entrenched racism, the behavior of black children becomes the true enemy of peace. The distracting conversation turns the spotlight back onto black youth and the shared belief across racial lines that the only way to keep black children safe from racism and out of trouble is to hurt their bodies. This is what I call the cowardice. I don't think this is a misunderstanding. I don't think this is a fact of ignorance. I think that black parents don't want to do the social work, don't want to go up against the systems. So they do this and then say, well, I did the best I could. No, the best you could was do the political work, do the social work, create the space in the public for your child to exist as a full human being. That means you got to do some election stuff. That means you got to go out and fight. That means you got to go to city council meetings. That means you got to cut out some of this garbage TV. Cut out a couple of shows or watch them later. You can stream them later and do some of this work. A couple of hours a day. If every parent does a couple of hours a day on the work, the social work for your children, then we can get this done. Given the celebration of Graham, it's no surprise that countless black parents are now using their cell phones to broadcast their tough love parenting all over social media. At one level, these public displays of humiliation reflect black parents' sense of insecurity and inadequacy in rearing their children, as they seek applause for projecting strong values and a no-nonsense approach. These public displays of extreme discipline are an overcorrection and a declaration to the world. Look what we're doing. We're parenting. We don't let our kids run wild. We're demanding discipline. So, hey, America, shut the hell up. It doesn't matter. The rest of America doesn't see us as full human beings. They don't. They just don't see us as full human beings, period. And no matter what you do for them and with them, you could be the most extraordinary person, and they're going to wait to make the one tiny mistake and say, oh, yeah, they're just like the rest of them. 3/5 or 4/5 the most. Never a full human being. So, stop trying to impress them. Just be full human beings and fight for your space to be full human beings in the society on this planet. That's the fight. Also, when people are doing things on social media, it's not always just for clicks and things. We have to understand that a lot of times now that's for money. With channels being monetized, if a parent could go viral, they could get a few $100 a month, few $1,000s a month coming back into the house. And if you really go big viral, you can maybe make in the tens of thousands, right? With TikTok and all of these things, there are some millionaires. There are some young millionaires who do TikTok things. At another level, the public whoopings reveal how there's nothing easy about parenting a black child today. Adults keep arguing in circles about the appropriate ways to discipline children's bodies into safety and achieve the peace we've been longing for in our communities. Meanwhile, black children all over this country continue bearing the brunt of racist devaluation, on top of the pain of being hit by their loved ones. Irrespective of the reasons, rage induced by racism or a yearning to protect and ward off death and hitting still hurts. But let's be clear, contrary to popular belief and decades of surveys, studies, racial stereotypes, whooping children didn't begin as a black thing. It's not even native to us. There's no evidence that our ancestors in West Africa embraced this kind of child rearing. It was introduced with the arrival of Europeans on the African continent centuries ago. We've just kept the tradition going. That's what I'm saying. When you do a human history dive, you realize the way we behave now, we think we're so sophisticated and modern. This is savagery, what we do. People going hungry. It's not a human thing. Poverty, it's not a natural thing. It's not natural to us. Forget black or white. It's not white people. It's not natural to human beings. Creating poverty, not natural to us. Homelessness is not natural to us. A lot of this stuff is savagery, man, and people are calling it the modern world or sophisticated, or I like to what they like to say. It's complicated, Timothy. It's just complicated. It's not that easy. No, it's not. It's not complicated at all. Like one politician said, a public advocate, he said in New York City, he said, there's got to be a way to get homeless people in all these empty apartments. There's got to be a way to do it. Why is that so difficult? It's not. It's really not. Use this information. We're going into another chapter. I love this book. I may have to get a copy for my permanent library. Use your public libraries. Support them whichever way you can. And if your public libraries begin to ban books, see if you can either buy those books for cheap or see if libraries will give them to you. I got 4 volumes of George Orwell's nonfiction writing, letters and things like that, for $2. 4 volumes, books this thick, 4 books that thick. And I'm telling you, in a public library in Irvington, New Jersey. Until next time, try to be safe and take care.